Come on. Give it to him. Gotta get the music. It's Thursday already. We are still in Buffalo, New York, wrapping up, filming More the Cars 3, talking about an OEM partnership like we've probably never seen before. Well, we haven't.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be.
This is a strict like the opposite of the vibes we just had going on in this coffee shop we're in.
Right.
We show up this morning at a Spot Coffee location in Hamburg, New York, near the very first Western store.
Oh, man.
And it's low lights. It's a little drizzly.
Chill. John Mayer, Ed Sheeran, the whole nine yards. Dave Matthews
came on. I was like, I'm about to take a nap. And I just woke up. Oh, man. But there's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
And More Than Cars episode 3 is in filming.
It's in midway through filming. We got second day today.
We previewed episode 2 last night.
Man, yeah, that's the stories in that one are I cannot wait for people to see them. I'm sitting there going, I was in the room getting choked up, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's nuts.
If you get teary-eyed, you'll see episode 2. You can see episode 1 at morethancars.tv for free. Also, want to make sure we talk about a Soducon.
I'm really excited about it. The speaker lineup is incredible. You know, one of the things that we've been talking to a lot of people about is they go, Baltimore. Why Baltimore? And I think we're rebranding it. It's North Annapolis, right? It's like it's between Annapolis and the airport. It's only a few minutes from the airport. And actually, we're really excited because next week we're going to be announcing the charity that we're going to be partnering with, which is a local charity to Baltimore. So stay tuned.
Very automotive specific.
Very auto specific. Stay tuned. We're going to the venue and to their spot next week. So we'll be announcing that late next week. So keep your eyes out.
Yeah, and look, we're about 60 days out. If you haven't gotten your tickets, now is a great time to get them, especially because they're still discounted. That discount will go away in just a few days when August 1st hits. So get your tickets to a Soducon now. If you're an industry partner and you want to be involved with it, we still have some places for you to be involved. Go look at the speaker list. Go to Soducon.com, look at the speakers, and realize there are over 1,000 rooftops, or about 1,000 rooftops represented just in the first 25 speakers we announced. We have
it's incredible.
3 Publics represented, maybe a 4th on the way. We have Automotive News. We have Jesse Cole.
Golly.
Savannah Bananas. Look him up. He's going to be our main keynote. We have just some of the most savvy practitioners. So you're going to learn about marketing, CRMs, data, operations, hiring, all the challenges you're facing right now. There are experts that are doing it. It's a great place to be. And if you're an industry partner, it's a great place to grow your business. So Soducon.com, reach out, get your tickets. And we can't wait to hang out with you in just 60 days or so.
60 days.
Whew. All right, let's talk about some news, man.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is a good one. Several major automakers are teaming up in a landmark venture to bring 30,000 chargers to a nationwide network. So General Motors, Stellantis, Hyundai, Kia, Honda, BMW, Mercedes announced the formation of a new company. Can you imagine?
It's actually a company.
They're just going to take the first letter of every... No, they're not going to do that. First of all, I wish I was on the Zoom call. It was probably Microsoft Teams. I wish I was on the Microsoft Teams call when they were like, okay, what are we going to do about this Musk guy? Yeah. I know. We'll start
put his picture up. Let's talk about it.
Right. 1984. But this is a pretty great thing. So Tesla accounts for more than 60% of U.S. EV sales last year. They have the largest network of chargers currently with 18,000. This group wants to put 30,000 out there so they can kind of push back against Tesla's dominance in just the charging capacity. And they're also going to be eligible for their share of $7.5 billion in federal subsidies. The CEOs of the several brands, they want to build them out like gas stations currently, like restrooms, food service,
the whole thing.
Retail.
Wow. That shocked me when I saw that. I was like,
we'll see what they think they mean by retail.
Yeah.
If you need some ideas, just
let us know. Yeah, they really are thinking that because their trajectory is 50% of all U.S. sales to be EV by the year 2030, that this is a necessary component to building into that. It's just kind of like a lot of people riding the wave, but it's really interesting to me to see automakers come together, create new venture companies to be able to accomplish their goals overall. So kudos to these automakers for getting in the same room and getting something done.
We'll see if they get something done.
Yeah.
I mean, an announcement is one thing. An announcement is one thing. Execution is another thing. I'm highly optimistic. I think it's a great time to just show the country that there is a great thing going on with OEMs and in automotive in general.
In the article, there was one of the analysts was like, well, they have the money to do it, so why shouldn't they do it?
That's true. That's true. I mean, can you imagine how are they going to name this thing? How are they going to name it? Like,
how a lot of names I could come up with.
We've seen a lot of OEM reps, and we've seen how differently they approach life.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
There's no segue.
We don't even have a segue. We don't have the segue button. I'm always like looking for the segue button, and there's not one. So, segue to the next story. Is it deceptive or leveraging the system? Tesla is facing scrutiny as it emerges that the company has been canceling service appointments related to battery range complaints, while also allegedly exaggerating the driving range of the EVs. This is a big one. It's on Reuters.
Boy.
Huge article on Reuters, raising questions about the company's transparency with customers. So basically, they created, according to the source that Reuters had, the company created what they're calling a, quote, diversion team to cancel as many range-related service appointments as possible, claiming the vehicles didn't need repair. This was done to ease pressure on service stations. In the article, it mentions that whenever an appointment was canceled, there was like a little bell or a little xylophone in the call center that they would ring.
Like, congratulations!
I don't know if that's true or not.
You canceled it.
It's in the article.
Oh, wow!
And it's basically they're saying company exaggerated range estimates. They were results of algorithms that were designed to show optimistic performance. So, for instance, when you get in the car and you fully charge it, it will show you the full stated range of the vehicle. Right. 400 miles, 375. And it wasn't until about after 50% of the battery drain that it adjusts to the realistic estimate based on what the driving conditions actually are and weather conditions. It's not the first time, this strategy was reported by Elon.
Here's the thing. I know the stories on Tesla, but I've been in multiple EVs where I feel like there's a moment where I'm like, whoa, how'd I lose 20 miles off this thing right off the bat, right? I feel like sometimes driving ICE vehicles, I actually gain mileage because it associates like, oh, maybe you were driving a little bit more highway the first little bit,
I mean, it is just definitely something that happens a lot. Like if I'm towing a boat.
Right. Yeah.
And then the next time I fill up, it's assuming I'm still towing the boat, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So there's another 75 miles in there or vice versa. However, Tesla actually, this isn't the first time when all the data comes in. It says, they do. Basically, what it comes down to is they leverage the system and the regulations. You can decide, is it the best or the worst? But either way, the most aggressively. And the diversion team, they call it. I look at that and I say, well, if people don't need to come in for a service appointment, they run remote diagnostics and they address the issue on the phone. Like, I don't know why that's a bad thing, because if you can take care of a customer's complaint and they don't have to come in, I mean, maybe you can't take care of the range, but you can settle the concern or at least
I mean, if you got a lot of people coming in service centers that don't actually need to be there, you're just clogging it up for everyone. And those same people are going to need to come back for service at some point. So I think that there's like a both sides to the same coin type of thing.
There is. But without a doubt, they're definitely aggressive on their mileage estimates as far as what this is looking like.
Yeah, exactly. We got this one. This is all following.
This is bringing me back to college now.
The old last weekend hype on Barbie, but trying to ride the wave of the Barbie success. Gap has tapped Richard Dixon, Mattel's former president, to rejuvenate the struggling clothing retailer. So Mattel is having a blockbuster week right now because if you didn't know, Barbie came out. It grossed $155 million domestically over the weekend. Dixon is currently Mattel's president and COO. He had been with the company total 20 years.
Whoa.
So Gap has obviously been struggling finding success because they found a lot of their success originally from the mall boom in the 80s and 90s, but the decline in the malls
spent a lot of time in that
forced them to close over 30% of Gap and Banana Republic. I'm sure Old Navy's still rocking and rolling.
You've been putting a new one up near my house.
Yeah. Neil Saunders, the managing director of Global Data, said that his reinvention of the Barbie franchise, which is currently riding on a high, is also proof that he understands how to turn around established brands that have run out of energy and system. This is exactly the challenge he'll need to address at Gap. What a great quote.
Well, Neil Saunders of Global Data, I think it is yet to be seen whether he turned the brand around.
It's
getting a lot of pop culture hype right now. Does it actually turn the brand around? We'll see. But without a doubt, Gap, an iconic brand that has fizzled out. I mean, I mean, they had Kanye as like a spokesperson, right?
Right.
Like they just came across a string of like, oh, okay, we got to deal with this now. But they definitely had lost their way.
Yep.
They've lost their way, the mall boom, all of that compounding. But it's still known, like especially people who grew up like and were teens and 20s in the 90s and early 2000s have a pretty big affinity and understanding for Gap. So much so, remember when they changed their logo?
Oh yeah,
Gap was like, oh, we're going to reinvent, change the logo. There was such a backlash. They changed it back in 2 days, meaning they had a pretty devoted and caring group of fans.
They really do. And I mean, you know, you look at like, I think that the redefinition is what they do with physical stores, right? Mm-hmm. Old Navy has consistently been at standalone retail positions, where Gap and Banana Republic have relied on the mall network. And so, you know, being those brands in a new economy that just doesn't center around malls. Now, here's the interesting thing. We ran a story a couple weeks ago where Gen Zers are headed back to malls. So, hey, who knows?
At least, no, I don't know about malls. Was it malls or was it like
it was about malls? They were like, we want malls to come back was the kind of thing, right?
Let's see about that.
You were on vacation. Me and Cirilla were talking about
I missed this whole thing.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what? The Old Navy that I mentioned they're putting up near my house is actually going in a closed Bed Bath & Beyond.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's
normally
size.
I feel like they're just right next to each other.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. I hope they come back because I used to like shopping at Gap.
There you go.
I wear a lot of basics if people haven't
something basic. There you go.
Well, that's Thursday. We hope you get out there and you do the things that you do in a way that orients yourself toward people. How can you serve the people? How can you love on the people, serve your team? And there are a couple cars involved too.